Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ran our seasonal mission. For some reason I thought it was called like Judgment Mission, not just seasonal mission. I'm not that stupid, I swear. I know what that is. But we ran a... not a priority assignment, I'm just kind of wandering over here. An intel. And that's about it. Got a number of levels. But this time around, we're gonna actually run some ordo missions, because I have them, I might as well do them. The progress is gonna carry over to the main run anyways. Oh, it already is carried over. Okay. Well, cool then. We're just gonna get this done. Let's fire up a purge. God, that looks horrible already. Critical hits are disabled. Increased HP and heat resistance. Damage bonus every 60 seconds. Movement speed bonus, and they count as armored. Enemies get 80% resistance to the first type of damage, against the type of damage from the first hit for 3 seconds. Why is this so horrible, and why am I stupid enough that I'm going to add stuff to make it more difficult? Because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I'm really, really stupid. 62% physical resistance. I am going to hate myself doing this. Okay. Might as well suffer. So, if you ended up coming here because the title got your attention, welcome. No, the title is not clickbait. This is the end of the Space Marines. What I mean by this is Games Workshop has announced they are no longer supporting standard Firstborn Space Marines. At least for the miniatures and the tabletop. And essentially the lore, if we really want to break it down. What this means, as of their statement, is they are going to cease production of Space Marine miniatures. So if you want normal, generic Space Marines, they're going to stop producing them, they're going to be harder to get. And, I think this is the real kick in the nuts, you can no longer use Space Marines in, like, recognized official events. So you can't go to your local Warhammer shop or Warhammer World or whatever, or your local hobby shop that hosts official events, and pull out your Iron Hands or your Ultramarines. They no longer count. What they say is you may use them as proxies for Primaris within friendly matches. So you and your buddies can sure use them, which, yeah, I'd expect it to. If they're telling you how to use your product, or like the stuff you bought in your own home or with your own friends, that's kind of absurd. But official recognized play, no longer a thing. You now have to, if you want to use it in events for narrative stuff and all that, you need to purchase Primaris Marines and paint Primaris Marines. Yeah, it sucks. I was trying to find a way to segue that, and it sucks is the best way I can segue this. Bad choice all around. If anything, I think they should have just nerfed normal Space Marines to kind of explain Primaris, or just stop producing Primaris, or continue producing Primaris, stop producing Firstborns, but still allow their use. Because this is rough. Like, from an initial standpoint, it makes sense. I said this long ago. They would be trying to eventually segue out of... Didn't want that to go there, but sure. They wanted to segue out of having Space Marines. This was all something to push you to buy Primaris. Obviously, I don't see 100% retention rate. I don't think there will be. If I had spent thousands of dollars on potentially multiple Space Marine chapters just to be told none of it's legal anymore, I'd be mad. If anything, this just tells you to invest in, like, orcs or Tau, because they're never gonna make Tau 2. As I say that, I know they're gonna do that now. They're gonna do something real stupid and have, like... I don't even know what they'd call it. Orcs, but with 2 Ks. And expect you to buy them. But it's stupid. And a big problem is not everything the Space Marines have has a Primaris equivalent. Thunderfire cannons. You know, the big, it's like triple or quad barrel field guns on like itty bitty tank treads. Primaris doesn't have that. And those, if my reading comprehension is up to par, those count as part of the Space Marines that will no longer be supported. So my question becomes, what do we do with those? Are those still legal? Are those... What's going on with them? What about the servitors that went along with them? I don't know really many sets anymore that have legal play servitors. So we're left in kind of a weird spot with Space Marines now, and I don't like it. I think Games Workshop, yes, it's their product, they can do what they want. I still feel like they kinda overstepped. I think they should have just transitioned out and got people to buy new stuff that way, over this very peculiar, nonsensical manner of trying to get people to buy Primaris Marines. Because people would naturally transition over time. That just happens to be how things work. People over time shift. Trying to do an aggressive push doesn't always yield positive results and can result in pushback. And narratively, I haven't been following narrative super close. I assume Belisarius Cawl has come up with some Primaris Juice 2.0 that now just lets all Firstborn just get jacked. But if not, they could justify keeping the Firstborn around and just say, hey, these guys are kind of a dying breed now. And just leave it at that. I think that narratively is really good. But yeah, we're in a weird spot now. The Space Marines are kind of dead to a degree. They're going to cease to exist. It's all going to be Primaris. It does make me worry, because if they're doing this and they're pushing this hard for just the Space Marines, my question is, when is this going to happen for Chaos? Once again, narratively, we know that Fabius Bile has been working on Primaris Marines. He has managed to get his hands on some and has been experimenting. So how long until Bile comes out and goes, oh, hey guys, so you know how the Loyalists got their funky Primaris juice? Well, now we have, I don't know, Chaos Juice Double XL comes in the BFC. You can chug this and become absolutely Xbox huge. It's all an option. And I don't like it. Because then it's just gonna make even more people mad. It's gonna remove even more stuff. Now, if you don't care, and you play just with friends, you might be able to score some Space Marines for dirt cheap. Because I imagine some people will just sell off their stuff, either because they want to keep up with narrative and will just offload it and get new, or they're going to be so furious and feel betrayed that they'll just say, whatever, I'm out of the hobby, I'm going elsewhere. Speaking of which, if you are going to join the ever-growing Warhammer diaspora, let me make a couple suggestions for you. Bolt Action, which is World War II wargaming. They have Conflict 47. It's a alternate sci-fi future kind of war. The Germans are split into a couple factions. Actually, no, the Germans are one faction, but you can have, like... God, what all is there? You can have zombies and, like, gorilla men and plasma cannons on your panzer tanks. All sorts of fun stuff. You can play as the Japanese and have zombies and guys in, like, stealth power armor and tanks that are like mechs and they look like giant scorpions. Really cool tank, by the way. You can even play as the Italians. Who'da thunk? I never imagined you'd be able to play as the Italians, but you can. And they look pretty cool. But there's that. There's Mech Warrior. / Battletech / whatever brand it is at this point. The licensing has gone to hell and back. It's fun. You get robots. Stomp around, hit dudes with, like, LBXs and Gauss cannons and absolutely dunk nuts on them. It's fun. Outside of that, I'm trying to think what else. There's actually a, like, Call of Cthulhu war game. I think there's actually, like... There is one that is a dedicated war game that you can play as, like... God, what is it? The Black Sun, so, like, Nazis. You can play as normal investigators, there's cultists of Nyarlathotep, and Starspawn, and all the fun stuff. I don't know how well supported it is anymore, but it exists. Who knows, maybe if enough people get into it, it can get revived. There's also Star Wars Legion and Star Wars Shatterpoint. It depends on if you want to buy from Fantasy Flight Games, then it's Legion. Shatterpoint is by somebody, I think it's Morphidius? I don't remember. But Morphidius does the Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So if you're like Fallout and you're like, hey, I want to play a war game of that, that's an option. Outside of that, there is Axis and Allies if you want to go old school. What else is there? There's X-Wing. That's Fantasy Flight, same as Star Wars Armada. I think there's actually a Star Trek war game as well. Or I'm just hallucinating. It could be either or. Who knows anymore? But yeah, so you have options. If you're looking to ditch because of how this latest bout of news is, you got your options. No, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, if you vote with your wallet, they'll change back. I don't think they're going to ever backtrack on the writing and the lore and be like, no, Space Marines, the Firstborn, are totally wrong, guys, I swear. They're not gonna. If this is kind of your breaking point, then go. This isn't even me trying to be like, if you don't like it, then leave. Like, no, if you are genuinely bothered by it, like, don't feel bad. You've likely invested good money. I'd be pissed. I would probably keep my stuff and play with friends, but if my friends stop playing, I'd probably offload them. But otherwise, yeah, don't don't feel bound to anything. You don't owe your allegiance to any company or IP. So many menus of things. That's pretty cool. I saw we picked up something. Loot quality or everything else? Damage taken to energy shield? Yeah, I feel like that's kind of just better. Through and through. Finally got a plasma cannon. It kind of sucks, tragically. One day we'll get a good one. Physical vulnerability on poison skill. I don't have poison skills. That's completely moot. Plasma gun is tempting because it actually has range. Slow on critical hit, knockback on critical hit. I do lose that 47 loot quantity. We will wait. Nah, screw it. I've made my decision. Keep saying, if I have to sit here and hem and haw, I just need to make the decision then and there. Alright, data hunt. This'll be easy. We'll sprint through this. Ah, that feels good, just one-tapping all these enemies. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that Games Workshop's doing what they're doing with Space Marines. Like I said, it is concerning. The chance that they might just do it to another faction. They could do it to Orcs, they could do it to Tau. They'll never do it to Dark Eldar, though, because they don't give a shit about Dark Eldar. Or Orcs to a degree. I mean, they came out with some new stuff, like, last year. Beast... Not Beast Riders. Beast Catches, I think? It was dudes riding some, like, squigs. Or squig-adjacent creatures. But that's about it. Dark Eldar, though. I love Dark Eldar, but they're just... Like I said, they don't give a shit. They are forgotten 9 times out of 10. The only time we will see anything new for Dark Eldar will be when Games Workshop goes, oh yeah, we need to bring back another Primarch. Who's missing? Well, Jagatai Khan went into the webway, so let's just spit him out. And we need to do a box set. Him versus Dark Eldar. That's gonna be it. Because that's exactly what they would do. Short of that, they don't care.
Let's see what happens now.
Which is sad because I understand when it's something like the human auxiliary units that the Tau can sometimes get. I think they get them in, like, lore. The Guvesa, I think? I don't know. It's been a while. But I get when there isn't any support for that. Or even to a degree Lost in the Damned, even though I feel like they need a lot of dedicated support because it's chaos cults. That's kind of a big deal. But I get it in those cases. Dark Eldar are their own faction, and it's just like, yeah, they're a thing. Just sucks, though. like I said, if you're gonna bounce from the hobby or want to start looking at other stuff, check out all the ones I listed. I would go, if we're gonna do a Star Wars one, that's a bit tougher. I would say, if you like stuff like Battlefleet Gothic, or I don't even remember if it was Gothic or if it was just Battlefleet. I think it was Battlefleet Gothic. But the ship stuff. Definitely look at X-Wing. 2nd edition, it's been out for a little while. So you might have to buy an upgrade, like an update pack if you're getting some of the 1st edition minis, but some of them never got converted to 2nd edition. But they're all painted, which is really cool. The most expensive ones are like capital ships, and those will be like $100-200, especially if you're buying like Armada, because that's big ships, that's capital ship fighting, and that the biggest ones are like Super Star Destroyer, which for the size it's like $200, $250 I think, or $300. It's still reasonably priced compared to when you look at like the price of Imperial Knights. It's a pretty good deal. I don't really have anything to say about Shatterpoint that is positive, mostly because I'm like, why? We already have a competing game that does the exact same thing. And then I remember, oh yeah, Disney. They don't care for anything except licensing. I don't know a ton of people who play Bolt Action, but I know it's still made. Oh, I just remembered another miniatures game. Oh my god, I can't remember the name, but it involves like kaiju, which was cool. Oh, there's also Carnival, if you ever wanted to do like a Renaissance Venice meets a little bit of sci-fi, science fantasy kind of deal. You got dudes who are making bodies, like Frankensteining stuff. You got Starspawn of Cthulhu hopping out and eating people. You got the Ecclesiarchy, the Holy See, the Vatican. They're doing stuff. It's all pretty cool. Or if you like wrestling, there's a Rumble Slam, which is essentially, hey, what if we made wrestling fantasy and we avoided copyright law by doing everything parody? Like, there's a guy who, instead of Randy Savage, is Randy Salvage. No, I think it's Sandy Salvage. Or Randy Salvage, I can't remember. But yeah, stuff like that. There's a lot. It's cool. You can watch a troll wrestle a group of dwarves. Interesting game. Oh, there's also Corvus Belli, so like Infinity. There's Drop Zone Commander, Drop Zone... Drop Fleet Commander? There's an air equivalent and a ground equivalent. Yeah, there's a lot. You have choices. People always seem to think that it's 40K or nothing. There's a lot of options, you just gotta do a bit of digging. That adaptive efficiency will be real good once we can actually use it. Grenade launcher's cool, but doesn't fit our build. Wow, warp resistance and warp resistance. Come on, should have rolled a third warp resistance. That would have been really funny. We will take that armor, because that's a lot of resistance. Get our warfare stat back up. I mean, more damage is more damage. But more health... Yeah, we'll go more health. Once again, trying to convince myself otherwise. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.